I don't understand why they did that. Well, here's an insight into human behavior as to why everybody does everything. It's like the one most simple thing. I can't wait to share this. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. All right, I get this question all the time. I don't understand why my staff member did that. I don't understand why my kids do that. I don't understand why I do that. Well, here's an insight into human behavior. This is something really, really simple, right? And it's an absolute game changer. If you're a leader, if you're a manager, if you're a parent, if you want to get the best out of yourself, this is probably one of the most simple things that you can remember around human behavior. So the other day I'm talking to someone over the phone, and they said, I just don't understand why my staff keep making mistakes. I don't understand why they just didn't finish off the job. I didn't understand why they don't do the things that I tell them to do. Well, there's probably a lot of different reasons why that stuff happens at a surface level. But here's the real reason, the deep reason. Now, I'm bringing this up because I also speak to a lot of parents as well, and they say, I don't understand why my kids do this. They know that it pisses me off. Okay, well, look, here's the reason why all humans do everything. The first thing is, if we look at human behavior, the brain is wired in a very specific way. So if we look at neurology, or I guess you could say neuroscience, you could say psychology, the human brain is layered, and it's layered in different ways. So the first way is reactive reflexive part of the brain. Now, some people call it the crocodile brain. It's not really 100% correct, but it's a good analogy. The crocodile snaps when anything moves in front of it because it's either food or a predator. Now, it's either food, which is good, or a predator, which is bad. It's either food, which is pleasure, or it's a predator, which will lead to pain. So when we're highly reactive, we're in pleasure and pain. When we step up to the next layer of the brain, animals and organisms realize that if they cluster together in similar groups, you have a better survival response. So if a bunch of monkeys get together, they are probably more likely to survive because one can stay awake at nighttime and keep an eye out. Also, there are many ears and there are many eyes to look for predators. So it increases the chance of survival. So therefore, in the second layer of the brain, the second layer up, you'll hear of the monkey brain. Now, the monkey brain is where we have pleasure and pain. So the reptile brain is all about survival, and it's there we've got pleasure and pain, which essentially is food or predator. It's a black and white way of thinking. It's either off or it's on. Pleasure, good. Pain, bad. So that's what we call black and white thinking, black and white psychology. And that's why someone says, it's bad to overeat. And you go, well, hang on, is it really bad to overeat? Because I overeat sometimes. And sometimes it's not that bad. Sometimes I'm just really calorie low. Like maybe I haven't eaten enough that day. And so if I overeat for dinner, maybe I'm still under my calories. Maybe it's good. Maybe I just need to catch up. Maybe I'm emotionally stressed. And if I don't eat a little bit more, then maybe my stress is going to be actually more dangerous and more damaging. And so maybe it's just a way that I'm using it to calm and relax myself. Maybe. There could be many different ways of thinking through this. Then we go to the second layer of the brain. It's the monkey brain, or what's called the monkey brain. Again, that's pleasure and pain, but it's all about group pleasure and pain. So this is where, as humans, people fear judgment, they fear criticism, they fear not fitting in, they want to be the tribal leader, or they want to be the best, or they want to win all the time. That normally happens because if you think about it, in monkeys, the monkey who wins the most, or who is the most dominant, or who is the most strongest, or is the most attractive, they're the ones who are going to procreate the most. They're the ones also who are probably going to get the most food. They're the ones that the group or the tribe protect the most, right? Because they've got the best genes. So in our society, we do very much the same thing. People are afraid of criticism, people are afraid of judgment, people are afraid of not fitting in. But they think if they can win, if they can achieve, or they can do a little bit better than the people that they surround themselves with, then that way they're the top superior monkey. Maybe it's okay, but that causes problems in itself as well. As we step up, we go to more of the logical brain. That logical brain, the outer layer, the neocortex, or the outer crust of the brain, you've got things like the prefrontal cortex or the executive center. This is where we start making highly intelligent decisions, where we can start think about things. And we go, okay, maybe I am the leader of the group, but I don't have to be seen as the leader of the group. I would rather somebody else in the group feel like the leader, but at the same time, I still get what I want. Which is like a business owner, a great business owner, a great executive. They have a team of people around them, and they will empower the team to make decisions on behalf of the best interests of the team. And so the leader themselves don't have to lead the team. They don't have to be seen as the King Dick. They don't need to be. That's an intelligent play. They think more long term. They're more able to control their emotions, that monkey brain that swings between pleasure and pain. And so they do things because there's a long-term focus, a long-term objective. Now, at the start of this, I spoke about what's the core reason why people do what they do. And it really comes down to one thing in most cases. If you're someone who is driven by the executive center, it really comes down to long-term thinking, long-term strategy, and because you want to get the best out of yourself. But 99% of people and 99% of cases, it's one thing and one thing only that drives all people. If you think about it this way, people do what people do because they want to. It's that simple. So if you think about this, the alarm goes off in the morning. Now, if you're long-term focused and you're in your executive center, which is the 1%ers, they go, I'm getting out of bed because I'm building a greater future. And they bounce out of bed because they're energetic, they're inspired. Everybody else, the alarm goes off and they go, I have to get up. Well, you don't have to get up. You can stay in bed. Yeah, but I have to because I have to pay my bills. Well, why do you have to pay your bills? The truth is because I want to pay my bills. Okay? I feel like it. Okay, well, what about if I hit the snooze button? Why'd you hit the snooze button? Well, I felt like it. Okay, cool. We've got a goal of going to the gym, exercising, getting fit. Why didn't you go to the gym? I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to. So again, it comes down to I feel like it and I want to. That's really it. That's the main reason, is it's just people act on their feelings. I felt like it. Why did you stay in bed? Because I felt like it. Why didn't you go to the meeting that you were supposed to? I didn't feel like it. How come I didn't have a shower today? Because I didn't feel like it. How come I overate? Because I felt like it. It really comes back to people running off of their feelings, running off of their emotions and their wants. Wants are essentially feelings. Like most people who want things, they want their emotions. So when I speak to someone, I'm like, okay, why are you building a business? Most people, if they're average and they're stuck and they wonder why they can't really get ahead, it's because they feel like it. They're running off of their emotions. They're like, I say to them, what do you want? And they go, well, I want to grow my business. Okay, well, why do you want to grow your business? Well, because I want more money. Well, why do you want more money? So I can pay off all my bills. Well, why do you want to pay off all your bills? Why do you want to have no financial challenge or no financial stress? Because it makes me feel better. That's really what it comes down to. It makes me feel better. You know, if with my feelings, because I can't control them, I perceive that if I pay off bills, life feels better. Now, that's not true. If you have a look at the wealthiest people on the planet, even if you have a look at someone who's moderately rich, they run off of debt. They're making sure that the cash flow is good. So if I borrow $1 million, or even if I borrow $1 billion, if I've got $1 billion in debt, let's say I have $1 billion in debt, but it produces me $20 million a year in cash flow, I got $20 million a year to spend. I got $20 million a year to live a lifestyle with. But that's $100 billion in debt. The broke person goes, I want to buy a $500,000 house and I want to pay it off over 30 years. And I want to get my mortgage off so that then I don't have anything hanging over my head. I don't want any responsibility. I don't want any accountability. Well, why not? Because I don't like the feeling of it. Okay, well, that's fair enough. You run off your feelings and that's what you do. Why didn't you go to the gym today? Well, because I didn't feel like it. Why'd you eat that? Well, because I felt like it. It's the feelings. So if you ask your kids, why didn't you clean your bedroom? It's really because I didn't feel like it. They'll say, oh, well, I was busy. Well, the truth was you didn't feel like it, right? There was other things that you were prioritizing that you felt like. Now, again, this comes back to those lower level thinking parts of the brain, the first and second layer of the brain. In the monkey mind is always chasing pleasure and avoiding pain or avoiding difficulty. It loves comfort and avoids discomfort. Now, if you have a look at all of our emotions, all emotions are cyclical, or they have both a positive side and a negative side. So I'll give an example. Confucius said that chasing happiness is what drives unhappiness. Something along those lines. It wasn't a direct quote, but that's what he meant. So by chasing happiness, you actually make yourself unhappy. I personally don't give a shit about happiness. I get asked that all the time, or people speak to me on podcasts and they're like, yeah, but you're a happy guy. I'm not happy. I could not tell you the last time that I've even thought about being happy. I just don't care about it. And the reason why I don't care about it is because my fulfillment doesn't come from being happy. Happiness is an emotion. Fulfillment comes from taking on challenges that I enjoy taking on. I enjoy being a better person every day. I enjoy waking up with energy and enthusiasm to tackle challenges that are exciting and, I guess, thrilling in life. I don't really give a shit about being safe and being comfortable and happiness and all that stuff, because I know that every day I'm both comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. right? Going and investing about 150 grand in this US trip is extremely uncomfortable, right? I've gone into debt for it. I've also had to pull cash out of the business, which has choked up a couple of growth areas in the business, but I had to do it, right? Because that's the goal that I wanted. That's the growth. That's where I needed growth. Now that is extremely uncomfortable, but it's extremely exciting, which also makes me feel comfortable because I like the challenge. I like the growth. So I'm both comfortable and uncomfortable doing that. I'm both happy and unhappy doing that, but I just don't let my emotions drive my behavior. Hopefully because I use more of the most evolved part of the brain, the most intelligent part of the brain to drive my behavior, not my feelings or not my emotions. So when we operate out of our feelings and our emotions all the time, and we don't do things because we don't feel like it, or we do things because we feel like it, when we're doing that, we're essentially creating a pendulum in our own mind. That's why the average person is living comfortably uncomfortable. And comfort is like their core driver for their goals. Why do you sit around on the weekend and do nothing? Oh, well, because I just want to be, I want to be comfortable. What do you want in life? What's your big long-term goal? Oh, I just want to be comfortable. Okay, yeah, cool. What's going to happen is they're going to have both discomfort and comfort at the same time. What do you want in life? I just want to be happy. That same person is both extremely unhappy and chasing happiness all the time. Okay? They want safety and security, but live in fear. That's most people. Most people that I come across. I would say that 99% of people listening to this podcast right now make most of their decisions based on fear, and they're afraid, they're scared, they're worried, and they're stressed. All of those responses are fear responses. Yet what they want at the same time is ease, comfort, simplicity. All of those things are causing them to never get what they want in life. I personally don't give a shit about that. If I feel fear, I normally just confront it. I go, okay, well, what's the fear behind this? Normally the fear comes from a lack of knowledge, or it comes from a lack of clarity. That's all it is. Because let's say I'm going to take $100,000 out of the business and I'm going to go put it into a different area. Let's say I'm going to invest $100,000 into social media advertising. Okay, cool. Does that scare the shit out of me? Yeah. Okay, well, why? Because I'm not clear on the ROI or the return on investment. I'm not sure about the key steps that it's going to take in order to get my money back. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get my money back. So what I'm saying is there are unknowns there that make me feel unsafe. If I go and figure out what the unknowns are, now I feel safe again. And so most of you are operating out of fear because you just don't know. It's unknown, right? My point is that when you operate out of the higher centers of the brain, you realize that everything's balanced and you become mission-driven and purpose-driven and you just want to live a great life. And normally you're inspired to take on challenge and adversity because you just realize that it's just part of growth, and growth has both sides. Whereas when you run off of your emotions and your feelings, you swing back and forward in this pendulum that swings one side to the other. You'll have pleasure and pain. And you all know that pleasure creates pain. And pain drives you to create more pleasure again. And so it just vicious cycle that just swings back and forward. You've heard me speak about this before. Like people who think about money, that money gives them pleasure or it gives them ease, they always end up back in displeasure or this lack of ease or this challenge. They always swing back and forward. It's like, woohoo, I've made more money now. Cool. What am I going to go spend it on? Then they spend it and they're like, oh man, I'm stuck in pain again. Or they go really well at the gym for a week. Oh, cool. Now I get to eat. And then they blow apart their weekend by over consuming food. These things aren't good. Then on weekends, awesome, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Then you get blasted on alcohol and the next second there's an argument or drama or fighting and now you've destroyed the relationship. None of these things are good, right? I mean, they're part of the life lesson, but we don't want to let our emotions drive us. But when it comes to other people, understand that almost every person on the planet is driven by how they feel and their emotions. I was speaking to someone a while ago and they said, for me, this is a logical decision. And I said to them, that's bullshit. Because humans first will acknowledge their feelings in most cases before they logically think through something. We have to go through the fear centers of our brain to make sure that we're safe before we can make a logical decision. I can be sitting right here, right now in logic, and I'm in my office. If you ran up and banged on the window and scared the shit out of me, immediately I'd have a fear response. That's a emotion. I would have emotions. So my emotions, my fear always takes priority. My survival always takes priority over everything else that goes on in life. So when we are unclear and we're running off of our feelings, we're essentially most of the time running off of fear, running off of worry. It's very, very hard to think beyond fear and worry and stress when we're always living in our emotions. And that's why a lot of people say, I've got these big goals and these big dreams, but they know that they're never going to achieve them because they're always attached to their emotions. It's hard to go to the gym all the time when you don't want to go to the gym. It's hard to work when you don't want to work. It's hard to stay focused on your future goals and future dreams. It's hard to go through stages where there are always problems in your business and you need to fix them. It's hard to do that, right? But if you learn to get out of your emotions and just go, well, you know what? I keep visualizing what the future looks like. I'm really thinking ahead, and you put yourself into a future state, it makes it so much easier to work because you already know the excitement of getting there and achieving it, or the inspiration of getting there, versus being attached to your emotions and how you feel right now. That's the difference. And it actually uses different centers of the brain as well. There's a lot of research coming out about this. But anyway, I hope this helps. So when you ask your kids, why didn't you clean your bedroom? Just understand it's their emotions and their feelings. Why didn't your staff member do something that you asked them to do? Probably because of their emotions and feelings. Why didn't they listen? Because of their emotions and their feelings. They were probably caught up in the way that they feel about something. So if you understand that, it makes it a lot easier to drive behavior. If you're naturally a leader in your business and you make your staff feel scared, they're probably going to make bad decisions. If you can empower them and get them out of their feelings, and you keep reminding them of the mission and the vision and the key strategic pillars, which I go through. Like when you join my Business Odyssey program, the first thing we do is I help you build your culture guide and your key strategy so that you can grow the business. It gives something for you to focus on, but also staff. When you do that and you keep painting the future picture, everyone knows why they're working towards something. They'll get out of their feelings. Without that, you always drop back in your feelings. But the core driver of all human behavior, 99% of people, is their feelings and their emotions. Driven Mofos, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Keep kicking ass, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.